here on the show. I was their in-game host for many, many years, and so I have a great deal of affinity for them. And the great Sidney Crosby, who was drafted by that team as a teenager, is now the 18th player in NHL history to score their first 500 goals with one franchise. Penguins almost looked like they were going to lose to the Flyers last night, who are not a good team.
Hear that,
but
Joe?
Sidney Crosby, well, they're not. Sidney Crosby has scored 500 career goals. And that's after being, he lost out on a lot of games because of COVID and injury and things like that. But he's an amazing hockey player. He will easily be one of the greatest hockey players of all time. In Chicago, we had Stan Mikita and Bobby Hull, and, those guys are on this list as well. Mario Lemieux, of course, with the Penguins. But 500 goals is nothing to sneeze at.
No, it's incredible.
I worked for the Penguins when he was drafted, 2005. I think he was 17 or 18 years old. That prior hockey season was the lockout. That 2004-05 season was the NHL lockout. And, of course, now Sidney Crosby's still with the Penguins. He's 34. Youngest captain in NHL history to win the Stanley Cup. He did that when he was 21. And the Pens beat the Red Wings back in 2008. We were in Denver. I was driving my wife crazy at the time because we were in Denver when they won the Stanley Cup in 2016. They beat the San Jose Sharks. And we were seeing some friends we hadn't seen in a bit, and we were at dinner, and it was just at like this pizza pub type place. And the way that the seating was, my back was to the television. So everyone else is trying to have conversations, and I'm looking back like this, watching the Stanley Cup to the annoyance of...
just a kid from Halifax, man.
Yeah, just a kid from Nova Scotia. Yeah. And the U.S. men's team, by the way, get knocked out of the Olympics. I heard somebody refer to it as a shocker. I'm like, I don't think they haven't gotten a medal in a while. They lost to Slovakia. U.S. men's hockey has not been fun to watch over the past few years.
I don't think the players are taken off from the NHL anymore to go and play.
That's right.
Maybe some are, but I don't think it's like overall all that important to them. So they're like, I want to go make money doing this.
Yeah. If you listen to this show on iHeartRadio from outside Ohio, tell me where. Zach is a new bureau chief in Asheville, North Carolina. Misty listens in LaGrange, Kentucky. Noel is in West Newton, PA. And Michael lives in Austin, Texas. Those are a few of our recent bureau chiefs that we've put on the map. You might have heard the well-wishers. We got a lot of mail and messages from people wishing Bill a happy 40th birthday. And he has dropped, he requested that our gift to him be to share his Bam Bam comedy special, which I think we all did.
I'm doing mine later tonight. I have more engagement around.
Mary's doing hers later tonight,
PM.
Bill.
Yes.
He knows.
She made me aware.
She's working the algorithm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is good. Work that algorithm.
Yeah.
But it's also momentous because you had asked Poundcake to do a press release.
Oh, God, I forgot about this.
You had asked Poundcake to do a press release for you for the release of Bam Bam. And
sure did.
We were getting multiple calls from Brooke. She would leave messages. Brooke used to be our bureau chief over in Kosovo. She's teaching English for the State Department. She's back home now. And she was really crawling up Poundcake's ass to get this done. It was like she had a personal investment in him doing this. And so, when did you write this, Poundcake?
Yesterday.
Last night?
No, yesterday. Like yesterday, in between the commercial breaks.
In the commercial breaks, you were writing the press release.
Mary calls it almost snack time.
Almost snack time.
Right. Okay. So, and how do you think that it went? How long did it take you to do?
Well, I went over it several times, and the wording wasn't right. I'd say all around maybe like 2 hours. Now, this is in between commercial breaks, so...
Wait, so was it done by the time we were off the air?
Yeah.
So you only put in the time into this that we were already here?
Well, I started it before the show started, but yeah.
Well, for what I'm paying him, that's fine.
But it's one page long.
Aren't you paying him nothing?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
He did it 8
I'm
minutes
paying
at a
him
time.
an experience.
How many breaks do we have? 8, 9?
Like 6 or 7.
We have 2 an hour.
We do 9 segments.
9 segments, so that would be 10 breaks. So 80 minutes. If it's all he worked on the entire break.
Well, let's hear it.
Well, Bill, the only important thing is if you're happy with it.
I don't hate it. I think it's
That's high
Right.
praise in some corners. Doesn't hate it. Okay, well, it says for immediate release, and it's dated today. Did you actually send this out to anyone?
I sent it to Bill. That's the only.
Just Bill.
Yeah, it's his press release, and if he wants to send it out, he's welcome to. I wrote it for him.
Bill Squire's Bam Bam Comedy Special is what it says in big, bold letters. In honor of his 40th birthday, I'm just reading this as written by Poundcake. In honor of his 40th birthday, Bill is releasing Bam Bam as a comedy special, free starting today via YouTube. Clips of Bill's stand-up over the course of the past few months have accumulated 20 million views, that's in all caps, over various platforms.
that's so you know it's crazy. It's like 20 million views. Whoa.
Clips of Bill. Yeah, that's a clunky sentence. Celebrate this milestone with him and bust a gut in the process. That sounds aggressive, but I get what he's trying to impart here. The exceptionally funny audio album, that's also clunky, was recorded at the iconic comedy theater Hilarities, located on East 4th Street in the heart of downtown Cleveland, Ohio. The set was recorded and released in the summer of 2021 and was streamed over 500,000 times across all streaming platforms. So far, so good. Bill Squire has established... Did you have any input on this?
He asked me for input, yeah. Like he
You probably give him the stats and stuff.
I gave him
He
the stats.
did the info, and I said, hey, listen.
I had him like we were treating this like a press release, so we're not going to give you the rough draft. He was very professional about it. I could have just went in there and been like, yeah, that one works, because the first one he sent, he's like, you could see Bill tearing it up at all the open mics in Cleveland. I'm like, I don't think that sounds all that amazing.
Right. Yeah.
Ever heard of a bar show?
I'm
Easy
forced to be reckoned with, I believe.
Easy to deflate.
Yeah.
Then I guess I would have rather seen the first drafts of this.
Do you have the first draft saved or no?
No, I wrote over it.
That would be an interesting press release where the first half of it really inflates you and the second half deflates you.
Like trying to build them up, like, no, have you ever seen this guy at an open mic? It's pretty
You'll
good.
die from
Killing
comedy at an open mic. If you ever get the opportunity to see Bill wedged in between 17 other comics, you'll have a great time. Bill Squire has established... So he just reconstituted what you gave him in paragraph form? Is that essentially what this is?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Bill Squire has established himself as a contender in the ranks of comedy. Did you write that?
No, I did not write that. That was him. What he had originally written was Bill Squire is a force to be reckoned with, and I go, no. Don't do
too
that.
cliche.
So I think his
Contender?
reconstruction was better. Yeah, be a contender, like the devastation.
I feel like there's something great between a force to be reckoned with and contender.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to keep going in there, though.
Bill Squire is a tornado of pure sexual conquest.
Yeah, those days are behind me.
Those days are behind you?
Of pure sexual conquest?
Yes.
There's some sexual conquest. It's not pure
Well, I mean, you got a
sexual
life to live. I'm just saying that when there's conquest going down, it's purely sexual.
No.
No, okay. Wow.
Sometimes it's pop shot. Sometimes
He's taking this 40 thing hard.
Listen, this is one of those things where people are like, "Oh, I'm afraid of being 40," or being like, "I'm like, man, I've felt like I've been 40 for a minute." So,
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
40 suits me.
So you feel like you finally caught up to where you are.
Where I am mentally, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. If you've seen one of his stand-up routines, it's likely you were familiar with his story. Bill jokes about his life as a divorced stepdad to 3 children. He also spent time serving as a Mormon missionary in the Philippines and was excommunicated from the church. Bill incorporates his experiences into witty, laugh out loud, and sometimes uncomfortable punchlines you must hear to believe. And then he writes the Bert Kreischer clip.
Which I enjoyed that quite a bit.
You liked that quote.
I like that quote.
Bill Squire's amazing.
One of the funniest guys ever.
He's not woke at all.
There you go. So that's written at the bottom and attributed to Bert Kreischer. He's not woke at all. So there you go. That is Poundcake's press release with Bill Squire's imprimatur. You gave this the final stamp of approval.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the Bam Bam Comedy Special, which is available now
on YouTube.
YouTube.com/Bill Squire. All right. You feel good about that, Poundcake?
I do.
Okay. Well, listen, again, the only important thing is if Bill likes it.
Or who's the lady that calls in? That was
Brooke. Yeah, Brooke's probably got some things to say. But the one thing that I would say is when you do write things like in the past, like you lean towards some cliches a little too much. And you kind of sit on those. So things like force to be reckoned with, or like the whole paragraph about me being at open mic, stuff like that.
It wasn't a whole paragraph of you being at open mics. It was one sentence about you being in open mics.
It felt like a long.
It wasn't. I said
like more.
It was one long run-on sentence about you.
And I'm gonna be honest. I don't even go to open mics ever.
But that's not what I didn't say. You're still doing open mics. I said it was something about Cleveland. And I said there hasn't been a club with an open mic that Bill hasn't worked something like that. Bill hasn't worked his material there before. So it's not like I'm saying you're still performing in open mics. I just said.
I mean, I do work. I'll try stuff out, but I don't.
Built your
career.
Know.
It felt just a little. And then you said something else that I don't know. Overall, I'm happy with the end product, but there were some things that had to be ironed out. I think you also said something about. I can't remember what it was.
Because it's clearly not that important.
Yeah.
See?
Well, also, you've never written one before either.
No.
If I'd had the moxie, I should have had you send it to Gwen, because the first few years we lived here, she worked for PR Newswire. So all she did was press releases. But it didn't even occur to me.
See, we did
That's what I should have asked you for my birthday, is to have her write it.
Yeah.
And send it out to contact.
I've done press releases in college, but again, this is like now 6 years ago.
Well, but also in college, it's just an exercise.
Yeah, it's a mock.
Yeah, right. You're not sending them out.
And I know when I do something wrong because they put it it was always such a degrading feeling because we got our grades in real time. There was no
degrading. Good pun. I like it.
There was no sending it in and seeing what you get back. You would stand in the line. The teacher would go up there, look at it, and especially with something as short as the press release, it would be one page long, a couple paragraphs, and you would just hear. And I'm like, oh man, it's all the way down.
I love how he always does the sound effects like he's Michael Winslow.
Wow. What are those sound effects that you're replicating?
I think that's
there?
a pen.
The pen on the paper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, the teacher crossing out your.
You're standing there and she's just shredding you for dear life.
But that's good. That's what's supposed to happen. That's how you learn how to do these.
But there was just some people.
I specifically didn't take out a red Sharpie when I was reading this.
No, I know.
Because it doesn't matter if I like it. It matters if Bill likes it.
But it was just the whole point. It was like the intimidation because there would be people ahead of me, and I didn't even know that she was grading them in real time. There would be people ahead of me that would turn in their paper, and she's like, whoa, don't go anywhere. And then she would look at it, and then she's like, all right, good job. All right, good job. And then there's one person just like, oh. And you're like, all right, well, you need to rework.
He can't stop doing the...
Because that's what it would sound like. She would have a big pen.
He's adding to the story. Mm-hmm. He's giving us a layered recount of his academic foibles.
Here, the paper folding.
Like Fluffy telling a story. I walked in the door.
We got a cartoon. A texter suggested a force to be contended with.
There you go.
How about, there's the perfect marriage of a force to be reckoned with and a contender. Contender doesn't sound important enough. It's like you got to walk a fine line between really inflating yourself and being appropriately proud of your accomplishments.
I would say more like a survivor. Where
Bill has established himself as a survivor.
A comedy survivor. Been doing it for 18 years. Make money at it. Some people know who I am. He's surviving.
It should say, Bill Squire has hung around long enough where people love to see him work.
Mm-hmm.
And not at open mics.
They love, but not at open mics. Closed mics. Very, very closed mics that sell tickets. Listen, 20 million views of anything is nothing to sneeze at.
Is it really that high, Bill?
Yeah, I mean, between TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, I've
Oh, it's all of it.
Yeah, that's why I said across all platforms.
Various
Okay.
yeah, various.
It's all in the press release, Mary.
Relax.
I didn't.
She doesn't have a copy.
I didn't send her a
yeah,
copy.
I can't read it.
Well, we'll work on that. We'll teach you
Yeah.
to read.
Thank you.
Yeah, across
it's
across all platforms. would have
Between
been better.
the TikTok and Reels and Shorts, all those things have been very good for my stand-up, and now it's just trying to transfer that into some sort of actual fan base, which you see with, how popular Ben Palmer is, millions and millions of followers, still tough to get
60 people. 2.3 million followers, 60 tickets sold.
Because they don't...
Because following doesn't equal engagement.
Right, exactly, and that's the challenge. That's why
They
I'm
don't
trying
all live in Nashville.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, they don't all live in Nashville, but also there's probably 100 people that would have gone last night, but they didn't hear about it because when you try and promote anything on these social media apps that isn't just like keeping them on the app, they're like, no, we're not helping.
Does he live in Nashville?
No, he lives in Fort Collins.
That's what I'm
Colorado.
saying. Like he might be getting those kind of rooms everywhere he goes.
He said he's selling. He usually goes to small theaters and can sell in any city he's gone to. He can sell between 70 and 100 tickets.
Which is great.
So Nashville is probably just a city where there's just too many things on too many stages at any given time.
No, I think it was this week. It was Super Bowl Sunday and then Valentine's Day, and then they gave him the Tuesday after that. I don't think
everybody
people,
blew their wad
Yeah.
the weekend
right,
before.
People aren't going out 3 nights in a row.
And 60 people to
60
a show.
on that
Yeah,
Tuesday is great.
That's not bad at all. I'd be thrilled with that.
Because I said that to him. I said, if this was any other week, even on a Tuesday, I bet you would have had twice as many people here. But just Super Bowl and Valentine's Day back to back, I think kind of screwed it up a little bit.
And that's with his following, 2.6 million, and like millions and like 20 million is what he's doing in a week. So like he's doing really well, and it's so hard to convert those views into a person buying a ticket.
Well, if it was easy, anybody could do it. But it's not. And so it's left to the rest of us.
Well, that's why you got to have a good publicist.
There you go.
Good thing
and
you do.
Poundcake, who did say shredded for dear life, he's the one. Will you write more of these for Bill?
If he wants me to, sure. I know to stay away from the cliches. Yeah.
Or, you know what? Let's go the other way. Let's just lean way too hard into the cliches.
Lots and lots and lots of
More cliches.
Only cliches.
Loaded up with cliches.
That's right.
Yeah. No.
Wall-to-wall justified paragraphs of cliches.
He's a force to be reckoned with. His jokes, some would describe as shooting fish in a barrel.
If you're looking for a knee slapper,
laugh riot.
That's right. Ignorance is bliss, so don't stay ignorant of Bill Squire. The grass is always greener on the other side of the stage where Bill Squire is performing.
He says what you're thinking.
That's right.
Kill 2 birds with 1 stone and come out.
You can't judge a book by its cover unless that book is called Bill Squire. Bam, bam. All right, well, congrats. There you go. Congrats, Bill and Poundcake, on a job
Done.
Hey!
We don't want to use a cliche.
I've got to take a break. I'll have those Monday Night Raw tickets for you after the break. It's back at the Romo Fijo on March the 7th. So if you want to get to that, we'll hook you up shortly. And then another $1,000 on the way at 4:30. Chance for you to go fund yourself.
It's the Alan Cox